Thomas's plan. One day, Thomas, Percy, James, Emily, and Gordon were wondering why Edward and Henry weren't at the sheds. Sir Topham Hatt had the answer. "I'm sorry, engines. I have signed an agreement with the ports of Africa and England, so I have no choice but to make Nia and Rebecca permanent residents on this railway. Be nice to them when they get here," added Sir Topham Hatt. "Please, work with them." "Oh, all right," groaned the engines. Later, Nia and Rebecca came to Knapford Station. "Hello," said Nia. "Hi," puffed Rebecca. Thomas pretended not to hear until he pulled out of the station. He arrived at Kirkmatchin Station. Goldie saw that Thomas was not happy. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Nia and Rebecca replaced Edward and Henry at the sheds," puffed Thomas. "Oh, can I tell you a story?" asked Goldie. "Sure, go ahead," puffed Thomas. "All right," replied Goldie, and this is the story he told. Back when this railway opened for the first time, there were 5 of us engines, he said. Shane Dooney, me, Wilfred, Ernest, and of course, our number 1 engine, Godred. He, of course, was named after King Godred of Sodor. I believe it was this that made him one of many conceited engines this island ever knew. He was also naughty and reckless, known for coming down the mountain at a high rate of speed, Goldie puffed. We warned him several times, but, of course, he never listened. Eventually, his attitude got the better of him. On one of the railway's early days, Godred was coming down the mountain, being reckless like he normally was, chuffed Goldie. And then, it happened. Godred came off the tracks as his driver and fireman jumped clear. The coach remained on the tracks, which was lucky. But the same couldn't be said for poor Godred. He fell down the mountain. He was totally wrecked after his crash. Several days later, Godred was branded a waste of space at our sheds, so he was taken for scrap because this railway couldn't afford to fix him, puffed Goldie. That was some story, puffed Thomas. It sure was, Goldie replied, and Thomas puffed off. How about I make Nia and Rebecca fall down a mountain? Thomas puffed to himself. Annie and Clarabelle said nothing. Later, when Thomas found Nia at the yards, he wanted to say something to her. Can I show you something? Puffed Thomas. Sure, replied Nia. After Thomas switched to Nia's track, he coupled up to her and puffed away. There is an old bridge on the way to a quarry, and engines have to be careful when they cross it. Thomas furiously took Nia to the other side of the bridge. He reversed a few feet. Edward is better than you, he growled as he gave Nia a big biff. She was so terrified as she was falling down the mountain. Oh no, this is terrible, puffed Nia. Nia got to the bottom of the mountain. Ouch, that's gotta hurt, she groaned. Later, Thomas found Rebecca. He decided to show her the mountain line. So he pushed her all the way there. They soon got to the bridge. Thomas reversed several feet. "Henry is better than you," puffed Thomas as he gave Rebecca a big bump. As Rebecca tumbled down the mountain, her tender coupling broke. "Oh, why did this happen to me?" she wailed. Both Rebecca and her tender got to the bottom of the mountain. Nia heard the crashing sounds, and she didn't like them at all. Nia and Rebecca were totally wrecked beyond repair, so they stayed where they were for the rest of the day. That night, they were brought back. "I can't believe Thomas made us fall down that mountain," puffed Nia. "And you deserve it," boomed a voice. Nia and Rebecca knew it was Sir Topham Hatt. "I've been getting nothing but complaints about the both of you replacing Edward and Henry. We do have money, but not enough to fix you," he said, and he left. "That means we're due for scrap tomorrow," puffed Rebecca sadly. Everyone else was busy with their nighttime trains, so the only two engines in the sheds were Thomas and Gordon. Sir Topham Hatt came to see Thomas and Gordon. "Would you both like to take Nia and Rebecca away?" he asked. "Yes, please," they puffed. "I'll be at the back while Gordon is at the front," said Thomas. "And there will be a surprise for the both of you when you get back," continued Sir Topham Hatt. And so it was arranged. Thomas and Gordon coupled up to the flatbeds with Nia and Rebecca on them. Then they puffed off. Nia decided to speak. "We wanted to replace Edward and Henry so we can—" "Quiet!" snapped Gordon. "You both have been annoying me since you first arrived." "Besides," puffed Thomas, "Gordon and I wanted Edward and Henry back at the sheds." And he and Gordon continued on. After Thomas and Gordon arrived at the smelter's yard, Nia and Rebecca wanted them to come back, but the two blue engines weren't having any of it, and they simply left. "Oh no," chuffed Rebecca. Nia was also upset. "I think if we slept at different parts of the island, Thomas would not have made us fall down that mountain." Then they heard two horns in the distance. Harry and Bert had come for Nia and Rebecca. "Look here, Harry," oiled Bert. "Some fine-looking scrap here." "Agreed," wheezed Bert. "They will have a nice home in our smelting shed." The two diesels took Nia and Rebecca away. Thomas and Gordon smiled their biggest smile when they saw Edward and Henry back in the sheds. Let's have a party here, puffed Thomas. And so it was arranged. Donald and Douglas came. Oh, Edward and Henry. We all missed ya too, along with Thomas, Gordon, and everyone else here on Sodor, they said. And indeed, everyone did.